Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the National Watercolor Society's 103rd Juried Open Exhibition. And here today is Kathleen Alexander, the awards director, Janine Gallizia, our judge of awards, and I'm Stephanie Goldman, president of the National Watercolor Society. And we are definitely excited about the exhibition that we're going to be presenting the awards for the 103rd International Open. Our judge of awards is an international artist, author, judge, and curator, creator of the world's leading online watercolor course and coaching, co-creator and art director of the Art of Watercolor magazine. Her bona fides speak for themselves, and we look forward to hearing her comments as we move through the awards. And starting with our Skull Artship Awards, these are awards that are donated by a single artist going to another artist, opening channels to create conversation and give mentorship and professional recommendations one-on-one. Lane Hall, Angelina's Mood, 27.5 by 37.5.
Lane received award 27. The scholarship is donated by Kathleen Mooney.
Okay, so we'll start this one off. Just a deviation. I give an online course. I wouldn't say it's the world's greatest, but my idea of doing, or our idea of doing this critique was to see if we could help, because often people don't get feedback. So this is a brilliant way, spontaneously, to see what we can say. I really like this painting because it goes out onto a different level. We're moving in Watermedia, but I would say in a less conventional way. There's creativity, there's spontaneity, the brushwork is really nice. I like the very subtle effects. You've got a lot of, it's a tonal value painting. It's all about shape and tonal values. It's abstract at the same time as figurative, and it has a lovely fresh feel to it.
Gregory Radianoff, Hallway, 24 by 18 inches.
Gregory received award number 26. It's a scholarship donated by Dean Mitchell.
Okay, so this painting actually grabbed my attention. Obviously, the high color saturation, tonal value contrast, the very contrasted design of the painting from a very simple yet strong and dominant background, which is abstract, to the foreground, which is very subtle in both color and tonal value use, and figurative, brings us to a feel rather than a person sitting against a wall. There's something going on. There's intrigue. The person looking off into the distance, we don't know what's going on, but it grabs our attention and it creates intrigue and captivates. So this was also an easy choice to make.
Gwen Walker DePia, Bath Time, 18 by 14 inches.
Gwyn received our scholarship number 1, donated by Kathleen Giles. This is award number 25.
Okay, I actually did a painting of my shower a few years ago. So, Gwen, I don't know how you got the idea of painting your showers. I know where mine came from, and it was after an interesting night out on the town. So, what I like about this is that it's different. It's taking a different subject. People would walk past this subject every day. It's not an obvious subject, but it's something which is actually very aesthetic, very pleasing, very complicated, all these reflections. And again, it takes us into a different world, out of the box, different way of thinking, originality and spontaneity.
Donna Twyford, Anybody Have a Dime, 18 by 21.5 inches.
Donna received her signature membership in NWS, as well as award number 24, which is Cash and Merchandise Award.
Okay, I like this subject. I like the angle. I like the textures, the reflections, and all of this. But one thing that I like where it goes a little bit further is it's very nostalgic. It's very easy to paint a subject and not have an emotion or not have a feel to the subject. Um, Subjects are probably objects are a little bit harder to paint and inject emotion, but this has a lot of nostalgia to it. I mean, I think anyone would have probably gone up and tried to even read the songs on the jukebox because I'm sure they're nostalgic choices that amplify an era, a time.
Roberta Dyer, Benign and Gracious Solitude, 30 by 22 inches.
Roberta also received her signature membership this year, and this is award number 23, Cash and Merchandise.
Okay, this is a brave painting, I would say, to put into a big international show because depending on who the judge is, it's going to appeal or not appeal. I like the simplicity. I like the rawness. However, the little attention to detail, particularly with the little orange thread which sort of weaves in and out, but also in the drawing, it's a very straight to the point, simple but effective painting, which I think shows us that often we have a tendency of wanting to take a subject too far and sometimes going in the opposite direction and keeping it far more simple than what we would maybe imagine in the beginning can sometimes be more effective.
Michael Holter, Iron Horse, 16 by 16 inches.
This is award number 22 for Innovative Concept, a Cash and Merchandise Award.
Okay, I agree with the concept angle of this. This is not a tractor. This is an object which has been transformed into a painting. I like the design. It's all about design. It's not about the tractor at all. I like the simplicity, big shapes, big simple shapes on the right diagonal side of the painting with the juxtaposition on the top left side of a multitude of little small shapes that are basically contrasting but offsetting the big shape. It's a painting on design and on concept. And it's really nice to see because that's a very conscious decision and a lot of decisions, a lot of choices that have gone in to make this work.
Michael Engel, Dad's Old Tools, number 2, 22.5 by 15 inches.
Michael received signature membership this year and award number 21, which is Cash and Merchandise.
Okay, this is just a very elegant, beautiful painting, which says a lot, but I'm sure would stimulate so many feelings for so many people that can, how do I say, they can relate to the subject, they can relate to the objects, they can relate to the floorboards, they can relate to the temperature outside. It's a very relatable subject, but there are so many little shapes, there are so many things going on that could distract us from that overall feel, yet it doesn't. So they're just painted in a way that's enough and not too much, which again shows a lot of thought and intelligence behind the way the painting was painted.
Andy Evanson, Broken Home, 11 by 15 inches.
This is award number 20, Cash and Merchandise.
Okay, this is spontaneous. This is alla prima. This is, a painting which is done in one hit. And everything works together. We've got a very simple staircase. You've got very simple pots. We've got the cracks in the floor, the grass growing through, the cat, obviously. Yet everything has its place in the hierarchy of the subject. There is nothing which competes. Everything has its position and everything is painted in accordance to that, not just in definition, but also in contrast. So to paint and control the hierarchy and not create a distraction somewhere, and do it in one hit, shows that basically the artist knows what they're doing, and have mastered this form of painting.
Kathleen Conover, storm warning, 30 by 22 inches.
Kathleen received our new Master Signature membership status this year. This is award number 19. It's a Memorial Cash and Merchandise Award.
Okay, this as the title says, storm warning, but you honestly don't need the title to understand. It's just full of movement. The blurring of the lines, the crisscrossing of the diagonals, the strong color and contrast on the right, and then the loose sort of disappearing effect on the left. We have tension. There's a lot of tension, a lot of movement. The title, whether it came first and then the painting was painted or the other way around, it doesn't really matter. But we 100% can feel the movement, the energy, and the life in this painting. So again, another well thought out and applied painting.
Mary Velasquez Bailey, gazing at a masterpiece, 18 inches by 26 inches.
Mary received her signature membership this year. This is award number 18, a Memorial Cash and Merchandise Award.
Okay. This sort of subject just amazes me because I would never think of a subject like this. I love the story being told through the reflection. I mean, we've got a car, we've got an era again with the style of car, but the actual story that the people are telling is gazing at a masterpiece is sort of that, because they're just so casually just standing there doing nothing, and it's quite amusing. It's a very amusing piece. I found it amusing, well painted and amusing.
Chris Krapinski, connect the dots, 22 by 30 inches.
Chris received our new Gold Master Signature membership this year, and this is award number 17, a Memorial Cash and Merchandise Award.
Okay, so you know, Chris's work is very identifiable. There's a beautiful work of glass work of texture of the fruit, of the blackberries, of the material. The purple wash, which weaves in and out and basically connects the fruit to the material and goes into the pot, makes sure that nothing is left separate or isolated. The repetition of the different textures, the different patterns on the material. We're looking at, like she says, dots. Yet there's these lines that are throwing a different sort of shape, a different kind of movement. We see the lines in the purple wash. We see them in the vertical pattern in the background, but also in the lines on the foreground. And again, it's a nicely designed painting, very well executed. So an easy choice as well.
Dan Kurth, High Bot Eye Bear, 15 by 15 inches.
Stan received our new Master Signature membership this year. This is award number 16, Cash and Merchandise.
Okay, this is another sort of painting that I really like. I'm not an abstract painter, but I can so relate to this. What I love about it is, if you were looking at this and you were standing back at about 3 meters, we're going to see this big shape of different strong color, design, tonal values, which is hyper interesting, different. I'm not expecting this. It grabs the attention. I just want to go and have a look closer to see what I can see. And when I do move closer, there is such a richness of little things to discover. They are spontaneous, lively. They match the energy of the big shapes. It holds the attention of the viewer. So in this case, me. And I love that connection. And I say well done to get that pull from the distance, bring the person in, and hold them and captivate them when they're close up to the painting.
Michelle Nixon, Sharing a Bit of Light, 13 by 17 inches.
Michelle received award number 15, a Memorial Cash and Merchandise Award.
Okay, this is obviously a beautiful sentimental painting and subject, but then again, which has also been painted in a way which enhances the softness, the nostalgic, the position's nostalgic, it's intimate. The lighting is soft. The shadows just give us enough distraction from being too realistic by creating some sort of abstract shape that allows the subject to be there but disappear at the same time. So it's a beautiful combination of a sort of an abstract overlay with nostalgic, with sort of a feeling of nostalgia, but at the same time being very grounded in an emotional, intimate meaning.
Ron Thurston, Couch Cover, 19 by 25 inches.
Ron received award number 14, a Memorial Cash and Merchandise Award.
I like the idea, the design, the guts, the let's think of a different subject and paint it in a different way. The simplification of the subject and the different treatments. And we have little geometric little squares and spots going on. The background with the strong contrast. Then there's these soft flowers, and very different approaches. But they do work together. The colors work together, the atmosphere works together, and the design works together. And this is a sort of painting that is a risk, which is good. Risks are always good, but interesting. It worked. It works really, really well. So another easy choice as well.
Mark Mahaffey, Being Alone is Not the Same as Being Lonely, 29 by 21 inches.
Mark received our Master Signature membership this year, and this is award number 13, a Memorial Cash and Merchandise Award.
Okay, this painting comes down to a lot of aspects, which you know, the main one is hierarchy again, where we have the foreground, the main focal point, which is obviously the bird, which is symbolic in and of itself. The presence of the branches, which sort of are more present, less so, and sort of bring us, I'd say, to imagine something. We're in an imaginary world, or we're forced to imagine because the story is half told. So I guess that's also where each person is able to layer this sort of painting with their own feelings. And I think that's something which is really important for a painting. I think it's really important for the public to have the space to be able to imagine and inject their own ideas into a painting, rather than the artist always telling the full story and not leaving any space left for the spectator. So this is very much a two-way conversation between the artist, allowing the spectator to contribute in their own way.
Elaine Daly Birnbaum, The Walls Came Tumbling Down, 22 by 22 inches.
Elaine received our Gold Master Signature membership this year. That means 12 entries or acceptances into our exhibitions. This is award number 12, Cash and Merchandise Award.
Okay, this painting is beautifully balanced. I love the technique. I love the texture. I love the strong big shapes and the smaller, more discreet shapes. It's also quite delicate to want to introduce several strong areas in a painting. We've got the center point, which is obviously the white area with the orange. But if we look to the right, we've got these smaller squares, which of themselves attract the eye, but not as much. Right down the bottom of the painting with the orange line, the contrast, the different texture, again, but it's done in a way that it doesn't, these areas create interest, but they don't dominate. So again, it shows a clear understanding of how to create abstract paintings in a way that work, but don't overbear the spectator, but keep them interested.
Kathy Hegman, Beside Still Water, 29 by 20 inches.
Kathy received her master signature membership this year. This is award number 11, a memorial cash and merchandise award.
This is a painting that the same as what I've mentioned, from a distance has a lot of strength. The structure of this painting has a lot of power from strong color, strong tonal value contrast. But as we move in, there is so much to discover. Even just if you take the time to look at the hair, there is so much richness in this painting, but again, it's not overwhelming to the point that we are distracted by the detail from a distance. It's measured interest from a distance. It's the big shape, the strong color, the strong tonal values, the structure which jumps out at us, but brings us in to finer detail, finer, more intricate and different textures and brushwork. And so again, it's original, it's different, and it works really well.
Jian Wu, A Moment of Reflection, 24 by 18 inches.
This is award number 10, cash and merchandise award.
Okay, there's a lot going on in this painting. There are things that could have maybe not worked. Let me tell you just the shoulder, the left shoulder, which is on our right side, which is dark. It goes into the dark background. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's painted so well. Yet on the other side, on the left side, it's basically the same tonal value with such a strong tonal value contrast between the white of the beard and that background. It could have played a distraction, yet just the right amount of interest, the right amount of contrasting color, movement and direction on the shoulder makes our eyes stay for, I'd say, a little bit longer on the shoulder, and the competition just doesn't happen. So, there's a lot of mastery in there, and to be able to layer that into a portrait which is painted in a direct manner, full of emotion, is again showing the technical capacity of the artist, but also their intelligence when it comes to where do I track the eye, how do I guide the eye around the painting, and what areas of the painting the artist has chosen to leave more discreet so that they don't dominate. Again, another good painting.
Tika Brunsvold, Waiting for the Hatch, 30 by 38 inches.
This is a purchase and memorial cash award, award number 9.
Okay, this is another out of the box style, idea, concept, which is so nice to see, because I feel often that we seem to see not as much evolution maybe as what we would like to, and then all of a sudden this sort of painting jumps out, and This obviously is an under painting. There is so much going on, and then there's that dark layer over the top. So there is such a clear idea of getting that under wash, so interesting, so dynamic, but balanced before the darker wash is even put on. So this is a real concept, constructed concept, and to get it right and make it look like it just works as if there's no effort into it, and there was no almost like there was no pre-thinking, yet obviously there is, just shows that it's the perfect bluff. It just looks so spontaneous, yet it just wasn't. So, so well painted.
David Jordan, Marlboro Man, 29 by 20 inches.
David received his signature membership this year. This is award number 8. It's a purchase and merchandise award.
Okay, so obviously we're going into the hyperrealism. It's not easy to get realism looking like there's texture. This works really well. I love the creases. I love the contrast between the background and the foreground. Again, it still works. That background could have been overkill, and it's not. It's just well managed, well thought out. Probably also, it works, because when you've gone to that effort to do the subject in the beginning, it's easy to sort of think, is my idea going to work, or am I going to jeopardize the rest of the subject? But the hyper-realist subject and the suggested background, which is so muted, the colors are muted, the tonal values are muted, and the subject just pops out. So again, clear thinking, good application, and good result.
Allie Kavanaugh, Notice, 10 by 10 inches.
This is award number 7, our Associates Cash Award, donated by associate members.
This is so Vermeerish. This is such a Vermeer style with that really intense gaze that just holds you. And as fixed as she is, we become. So we actually, as the spectator, start to mimic the expression of the portrait, which is brilliant. This is often done in mannerisms when people talk to each other as a form of communication, mirroring each other. But it's rare that a painting is able to trigger that mirror response from the spectator, and it works perfectly. So, there's again a big choice of hierarchy: which bits do I keep, which bits do I amplify, which bits do I subdue, and all work together in a way that just makes the gaze and the strength of that painting work. So again, it's a beautiful balance.
Elisa Shea, marked, 20 by 22 inches.
This is award number 6, one of our 2 Masters Cash Awards, donated by our signature members.
Obviously the painting is beautifully executed, very good technique. I mean, again, the cardboard edges are probably the thing, and that worn cardboard effect, which we've all seen on toys that we've had, or we've seen in garage sales. We know that weathered cardboard effect from the 1950s or 60s used toys, and it's exactly it. So, Elisa nailed the effect, she nailed the composition, she nailed the symbolism. There really isn't anything left to say. Then, it works, it's interesting, and it's one of those paintings that just gets you thinking, because we could say, what's the connection between the buttons, the thread? everyone's going to bring their own idea to the table and it's going to respond in their own way. So it's suggestive, expressive, but at the same time leaves something open to the viewer. Well painted again.
Angus McEwen, The Chasm, 22 by 30 inches.
Award 5, this is our second Masters Cash Award donated by signature members.
Okay, so risky again to have that big black space, because we are seeing quite literally 3 sections. We're seeing that fine smaller blue shape on the left, that big empty shape, that black void in the middle, and then there's the subject continues on the right side and has a lot of detail. There's a lot of detail in the rusted iron, in the wood, in the chip paint, but it doesn't distract us from the so discreet, almost not visible spider's webs that are actually the connecting vehicle, if you like, from one side of the painting to another. But that is so discreet, it's almost puzzling how it works, because the rest of it is so dominant, so present. It's lovely to see how something so discreet can be as strong as strength. And that's the perfect example of how do you manage it. I'm going to take the risk and do it and pull it off. I mean, Angus pulled it off. That's it's just so captivating, mesmerizing even.
Carol Pickle, Untitled, 2023, 29 by 36 inches.
This is Carol's Gold Master Signature this year, and this is award number 4. It is a Memorial Cash and Merchandise Award for a non-objective subject.
Okay, here we have a lot going on. The design is great. The color scheme works really well. The contrast, the whole thing works really well. But I love the brushwork. I love the thickness and the smoothness, and then the lightness and the delicate brushwork. Then there's fine detail, there's strength. Nothing seems to be overworked. Nothing seems to be, I just didn't get that stroke right, so I have to go back over it. It just all works. That beautiful balance of that brown that weaves in and out from the foreground to the background, to the left, to the right, but which is discreet. The scratching off, taking off the paint, again, one stroke, get it right, leave it alone, don't go back in and tamper it. So it shows a clear, spontaneous movement while painting, no hesitation, and the intelligence to say, that's the way it's going to be, and bold, and it works. It's completely well pulled off.
Sally Cooper, Crossing Paths, 16 by 16 inches.
Sally received award number 3, a Purchase and Merchandise Award.
Okay. I love the turmoil in the brushwork. If you stand back and you look at the painting from a distance, we see the big shapes are very interesting. They pull us in. That dynamic of the white, the grey, the black, and the brown, goldy brown, is interesting. And it has its own structure to it. Yet the brushwork is absolutely chaotic, chaotic in a controlled way. It doesn't seem to appear to mirror that strong, simple, basic shape. It takes on its own life. And then on top of that second life is a third life, which are all these little lines that seem to be from somewhere else. And we've got these 3 entities almost, 3 different stories layered onto the same painting. but again, in a very interesting and intriguing way. And it works really well.
Dean Mitchell, At Home with Mr. Northern, 20 by 15 inches.
Dean received the Gold Master Signature membership this year, along with award number 1, the NWS Purchase Award, which also included cash and merchandise.
Okay. Judging a show like this is always a bit daunting because there are so many good paintings, as most of you, I'm sure, will agree with. So it's hard. But when I judge a show, I will look over and over and over the images, and some images just won't let you be. They will almost come into you and affect you. And this painting is a good example of that. It's a painting that demands attention, but at the same time is very poised. Obviously, we've got that strong tonal value contrast which is going on. But there is an expression which is a fraction of a second expression. It's not a set expression that's just painted. Something's about to happen. Something's just been said. It's a fraction of a second. And as the left hand, so the one which is actually on the chair arm, there's tension. There's tension in the shoulders. There's tension in the arms. Something's about to happen, which is adding to the climax, which is shown through the design, through the strong contrast, through the intense stare. Obviously, there's a red flower, of course, in the background, because that's just the perfect touch, because it's a distraction, yet it's dragging your attention in there, but without weakening the rest of the story. I mean, it just couldn't have been blue. It had to have been red. This is just one of those paintings where I think as an artist, sometimes we would like to think that our paintings are more than just an image, more than something that we put on the wall. It tells a story, it touches the person, it leaves them with something, and it makes them come back because they've gotten to the person. The person can feel something, they're intrigued by something, and they'll just keep coming back. And that's a win-win. So, easy choice. Perfect paintings. Honestly, it was such a good competition, but this painting does stand out for me.
So thank you very much, Janine. That was a fantastic review of all the award winners. And we'd like to pay special thank you to all of our donors, sponsors, and patrons. This is just a list of who it is that makes this show and these awards possible, and a very hearty thanks to all of them. This exhibition is on from October 1st to November 5th at the National Watercolor Society in San Pedro, California. We have a meet and greet on October 13th. The awards reception is on Saturday the 14th. That is a ticketed event. You can see all of the NWS exhibitions since 2017 at our YouTube channel. And you can see this exhibition and purchase any of these paintings. All of these paintings are for sale, of course, except the purchase awards at nwsexhibition.com. Thank you again. That was an unbelievable description of why you chose what you chose for the awards.
But thank you. It was an honor to actually have the daunting task of judging them, and a real pleasure to do it. So thank you.
Kathleen, do you have anything you wanted to add about our donors and sponsors that donate awards to this exhibition?
Oh, I just want to thank everyone for their generosity. It was a pleasure working with everyone this year that donated. And I'm really honored to have had this job. So thank you.
So Janine has been coming to us from France. Thank you very much for joining us on this Zoom session from France. Kathleen is in Northern California and I'm in Southern California. And we'd like to thank everybody for watching, and please go to the exhibition if you can in San Pedro and see it. It's always worthwhile to see the originals. Or you can visit us at nationalwatercolorsociety.com. If you're not a member and you'd like to become a member, you can do it there. And if you have questions about our organization or would like to be a donor or a sponsor to any one of our exhibitions, please email. You'll find our email at the website, or you can contact Kathleen Alexander. So thank you all very much. Janine, thank you again. That was absolutely fabulous. And we'll see you all next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.